I appreciate you joining me. Oh my God. Pothos. Propagating. Okay, start over. Stay tuned to the end of the channel. Watch to the end of the video. Hey guys, it's Krista from Plant Lux. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you watching my videos. Stay tuned to the end where I reveal a super secret awesome recipe for growing gigantic pothos leaves. Check this guy out. It's like the size of my head. Do I have too many plants? Maybe. Do I need more plants? The answer is always yes. Yes, yes, yes. So today we're going to propagate pothos. It's super easy. All you need is water in a jar, check, scissors, check, pothos. You don't need this many, but all you need is one plant really in order to make more plants, because that's the goal, more plants. All right, so let's get started. Here we have this Queen Anne marble pothos. When you propagate, when you cut from the bottom, you always get more growth pushing out the top. So you end up with a fuller plant. I know it seems counterproductive, but that's actually what happened. Why not get started on propagating? So the first thing you want to do is you need to find like some kind of offshoot, and what you're looking for are the nodes. This is where like the stem connects to the leaf and it's like fat, and usually there's aerial roots. That's what these things are called, aerial roots. You're going to want to cut, I usually cut about in the middle because there's not a lot of room, but you always, when you do it, you make sure that you're not cutting the bulb. So you want to cut a little past that, maybe even, and then you don't really need this part, so you could actually get rid of this. And it's so simple. You stick it in water. That's all you do. And you want to wait probably about, I don't know, 2 weeks maybe before you'll start to see growth. Sometimes you'll see it in about a week, depending on, you know, I'm not really sure what, but sometimes they just grow faster than other times. So just let's be scientific, right? So I wanted to show you, first of all, when you're doing this, because I really wanted to get a good chunk. So I'm just going to take this guy completely off. Remember, cut behind the node. Okay, get yourself a nice chunk, giving it a haircut so that it looks better. So we can probably get rid of this one too. That's good. All right. Second. Now, when you do a propagation, you really want a full head of hair. So you're going to want all of these, and you're going to want to cut between the, or cut under the node. And sometimes it's a little tight depending on, you know, the plant that you have. Now all of these will take, so you always want to cut just a few more than you need. This is kind of a funky one. I think I just might leave that guy just like that. So got these, put these in the water. Make sure you're cutting underneath that aerial root or between it, because sometimes they're so close that you're going to have to decide, you know, hey, where's it happening? Okay, so cut under the node, between there. Not rocket science, super easy. And in a short couple weeks, you'll have a brand new plant. Now I actually want to mention something about like this guy right here. When you have new growth like this popping out already, it may or may not survive. I've had luck with mine. Sometimes they survive, sometimes they don't, but soon enough it'll be shooting out new growth anyway. When can you do this? You can do this anytime. When's the best time to do it? Probably in the spring, but really I do it all the time, all year round. There's really no rules with pothos. They call it devil's ivy because it's like a plant that you can't kill basically. Although I have seen some people mess it up. Okay, so this is a propagation that I did probably a couple weeks ago. So I just want to show you the roots. So you see how the roots are growing? The white things right there? They're growing off of those aerial roots, those nodes off the center. Let me pick up a piece, a little bit better one for you. So you can kind of see these ones. These ones don't look like they're doing too swell. They need more time. This one looks like it's doing pretty well. It's got a nice root coming out from a couple of different spots. But you see where the swollen part is there? That's where you want to get that in soil or in water. Now, if you're doing it in soil, same idea, super easy. Say that we have our soil right here. You don't need to put it in water. If you cut it, you can put it directly in here. Just pop it in, cover it up, that's it. And then water it. And there you have it. That's as easy as pie. Now you have a new plant. Probably want to cut this guy off though. He doesn't look too beautiful. Or leave him, whatever. Sometimes the imperfections are the best things. So you can do it that way, or you can do it with water. Couldn't get easier. Looks like this guy's ready to, you probably don't want to wait longer than, like, I'd say an inch is pretty good. Some people like them a little longer, but this guy would go straight in. It's super easy. Just pop them in. Now, I would use about 15 to 20 of these to make a full head. So that's what I did with this one. I propagated this a couple months ago. It's looking great, it's a full head, and now it's got, you know, some legs coming down. So this was a propagation. This was a propagation I did, actually my daughter did this one. She took, there was 3 separate ones in here, if you could zoom in on that. So this is one, this is one, and this is one. She just chose to put 3 in there. She just wanted to give me a piece of her plant so that I had one from her. So sweet. Yay. Let's see, what else? This was another propagation that I did. And as you can see, it's really shooting out some thick stems. This is a good sign because you want the growth that comes out to be larger, and sometimes that's not always going to happen. This really likes the spot that I have it in though. It's my bedroom. It's a good spot. So let's talk for a second about pothos. So you can kind of see here that I have mine in a terracotta pot, okay? That dries it out because pothos do not like to set in water. I know that seems kind of odd since you can propagate them in water, but they don't like their roots setting in water. So terracotta is actually a really good way to pot pothos. It prevents, not prevents, but it helps people who like to water heavily. But they do better. Their leaves get larger. You put them near the sun. If you make sure you fertilize them, if you're not overwatering them. Sometimes when you stake them up, they get larger. The leaves tend to grow larger. Let's go to my giant staked pothos, and I want to show you what it looks like when you stake up a pothos. So you could be taking your propagations and potentially when they're babies, like when they're small like this, if you want to train them to grow up a stake, you can do that as well. It's a lot easier to train them to grow up a stake than it is to try to stake them later. You can do it either way, but let's go. Okay, so this is my staked pothos. You can see how very large these leaves are. It's growing up a stake. And I have a secret surprise at the end of this video to let you know what I use to get mine to grow so huge. So make sure you watch to the end. But here is a staked golden pothos with giant leaves, very thick stems. There are a couple different varieties of pothos. You can see how thick these stems are. So if you stake it up, that's what you could have. In fact, what I would like to do is probably take this piece that's not staying on the stem anymore, or on the stake, excuse me. I probably would like to propagate this because look, as I said earlier, if the new growth is small, you might consider clipping it and propagating it, and you might get a different result. And how I know this is because of these very thick stems. Usually when there's very, very thick stems, they tend to have like a larger leaf, but I mean, that theory might not be exactly correct either, so. So, in order to get some amazing growth from your pothos plants and to really kick off those roots and to get giant leaves, what I use is Jack's. You remember seeing my staked pothos back there? Yeah, he gets hit with the Jack's. So it's blue, it looks like this. You have to be careful with it though, because you can't over fertilize or you'll end up burning your leaves. But I'll be honest with you, I've done it to the point where the water's blue and it didn't do anything to these devil's ivy because you can't kill them. But just to be on the safe side, or on the side of safety and not burning your plants, because we don't want to hurt our plants. We love our plant babies. It says to use a half a teaspoon per gallon of water. So what I do is I just put a little pinch in and then I stir it up. Sorry. Stir it up. So it's like a light blue color. You want to make sure you mix it in. Okay, so that's one. That's one thing you can do. My super, super secret is not very, it's not very complicated. I just pour a little into the cap of this growth hormone, put some of it, a couple sprinkles in there. Because sometimes the growth hormone, the rooting hormone, doesn't dissolve right away. Sometimes you gotta mush it a little. That's it. Then you just pop them in. And then you'll see how much more quickly your roots come in and how big your leaves will get if you keep up the regimen of, I have a spray bottle here. I spray the roots and the leaves about twice a week. Now in a quart, the measurements are a little bit more specific. A pinch of the blue stuff, because when you're spraying leaves, you definitely don't want to burn them. When it's inside this container, I feel like it's a different game. And you'll also notice when you're spraying, because of the growth hormone that you put in here, so this is this growth hormone plus this. And you'll find that you're putting in, I would say, a 4-to-1 ratio. So if you put in a pinch of the blue stuff, you're putting in 4 pinches of this. Okay, so if you're gonna do 1/8 of a teaspoon of the blue stuff, then you'd obviously want to times that by 4. So that's it. So that was my super secret recipe. I think I need to refilm that. Tell me if you get results. If you don't, I mean, I've had really good luck with it. Play with it, see what happens. So guys, thanks for watching. Remember, if you're doing 1/8 teaspoon in here, you're gonna times that by 4 with the root hormone. So Jack's 1/8 teaspoon. This is times 4. So I think that's what, half a teaspoon? I have linked these in the description box below. Please give my video a thumbs up. Please watch the other videos. I really appreciate you guys watching, and I hope I helped you learn how to propagate some pothos. And I hope you have some good luck growing yourself some really giant, awesome plants.